You called your opponent an existential threat. On a call a week ago, you said it's time to put Trump in the bullseye.
Some comments on the assassination attempt against former President Trump this weekend. Obviously, most of the work that we do here at the State Department relates to events overseas, and it is rare that I comment on things that happen here at home. But of course, what happens inside the United States is essential to the work that we do outside our borders.
Everybody knows, everybody with a brain in their head, Jake, knows that this was always going to end in negotiation. The idea that Ukraine was going to throw Russia back to the 1991 borders was preposterous. Nobody actually believed it.
Defiance against somebody who tried to kill him. You will not take this man down.
You called your opponent an existential threat. On a call a week ago, you said it's time to put Trump in the bullseye. There's some dispute about the context, but I think you appreciate that.
I didn't say crosshairs. I was talking about focus on. Look, the truth of the matter was, what I guess I was talking about at the time was, there's very little focus on Trump's agenda.
Yeah, the term is bullseye.
It was a mistake to use the word. I didn't say crosshairs. I meant bullseye. I meant focus on him. Focus on what he's doing.
America's best interest is to accept Ukraine is going to have to cede some territory to the Russians, and we need to bring this war to a close. We need to bring the killing to a stop, and that's what American leadership should be doing.
Governments around the world have questions about what happened on Saturday, just as Americans do. And our message to them is simple. As President Biden has made clear, there is no place for violence in our democracy.
Like trying to reform America again, bringing back America. Because the Lord told me, He said, I am not done with America. He said, there's going to be a new wave of patriotism coming out. And that's whenever I saw Trump, and I saw a red wave coming out of Michigan. And then I saw Oklahoma, and there was embers of people, and they were all on they had torches all throughout Oklahoma, and they were raising up these torches that looked like fire, and they were bringing forth a new patriotism upon the nation. And it was being birthed, and it just kept spreading like fire all throughout America, all throughout. And I saw Trump rising up, and then I saw an attempt on his life. This bullet flew by his ear, and it came so close to his head that it busted his eardrum. And I saw he fell to his knees during this time frame, and he started worshiping the Lord. He got radically born again during this time frame. I'm talking, people say he's saved now, but he becomes really on fire for Jesus, for what I saw coming.
So we do continue the story. Hello, everyone. I don't know where to start with. Maybe some diagram would help to understand what really happened. As you can see, we have a scheme here.
An open-air rally, Donald Trump mid-speech.
We have a scheme here around 134 meters before, in front of Secret Service. Some say some tree would be blocking the side of them, so I'm not sure about this tree here, or is it the shooter was actually over here, because I seen him over here. So basically we should draw the line like this. But anyway, Trump was looking at the screen here showing the stats. So he turned his head probably in the direction of shooter, or slightly turned it during the first shot, because still it's 137 meters at least, according to this scheme. And so you have some certain parts of the second before the sound actually reaches the camera that was filming it from around here, I think.
This is an update regarding my last video with this particular angle with Donald Trump at the podium and the two Secret Service snipers on the rooftop. People are not getting what I'm saying. Trump is facing towards the Secret Service snipers on the rooftop. He's facing in this direction to his right.
So basically, that's why you see this anomaly that when somebody thinks that Trump is looking in the side of Secret Service personnel, but actually he is looking at the screen, and there's a little angle that a head can't turn without turning of the body, so he didn't seem to be turning the body a lot. So basically all he could watch is in this between this line and that line, somewhere around here. And as you can see, the screen is located somewhere around there during the video. Okay, so there's no anomaly here. And keep in mind that the guy is standing and filming from below to the top, because Trump is above him on the level. So there's no anomaly here, because he's looking not straight, but straight and a little too up, to higher area than he is. So basically he has an angle also. So that's why a double angle makes you see that Trump is watching them, because they seem to be on the same level, but they are not on the same level too, because they are even higher than Trump. And so they can't just he can't just see them if he is not putting his head up, because he has a cap, a baseball hat, right? So he doesn't seem to see them with his angular sight. Maybe he sees somebody, but he's not focused. It's not the focused view, right? So he's not like, oh, he's watching them prepare to do the shot or whatever, and then he, I don't know. So if he sees them or he's not seeing them at all, doesn't change anything in this case. What does change is the angle, and you can see the angle is pretty much the same, but the front of the scene is this direction, right? So Trump is basically putting his head in ordinary position. He's watching this way, at least this focus between these two buildings, right? Because the crowd is over here. But when he's showing the graph, he is turning his head. He's turning his head because he is trying to comment on the graph. Okay, so I don't see any anomaly here. Let's continue our research on the topic, because the interesting thing is the shooting victim was Corey Comparatori. Okay, so this exact article, if we come back here, was the first one that men killed after attempted assassination of Trump rally identified. The man who was killed at rally for Donald Trump has been identified as Corey Comparatori. Okay, so as we can see, and that is pure 66, and the CC is a 33. So like Coca-Cola, Comcast, and so on. So it's like a well-known story. As it was presented in this article, he is a former fire chief. So that's like FFC. Also draws my attention. So let's just check it out. FFC. We also have a 66 and 99 in Pythagoras. So basically, if you have watched my videos about Bomberos, Scroll Crown, and Braid Bradbury, you understand the reset is always related to Bomberos. As you can see, that's how this thing works. And that's the screen. That's the screen. As you can see, over here, Trump was standing. And that's the screen here. He was turning at the screen. So, I mean, there is no way he wouldn't be looking at the same. Look at the level here. Level is different. So that's basically he's supposed to be watching above the screen height to be looking at these guys, and he's not even turning. As you can see, that's the moment. He's not even turning the head up. He's directly watching the screen because screen is turned to him towards his point of view. Okay, so former fire chief, right? Former fire chief sacrificed, I would say, for this story. And yes, I still think that if they will show exact location of the person who was standing and died, and those who were wounded, you will also see correlation because it's already edited information. No one will actually understand anything from it, but all we can see the confirmation of the direction of the shooting, and this was a casualty, a former fire chief, Corey Camperatore. Okay, so let's go forward to recent interview. This video was premiered 7 hours ago. Let's listen to what Tucker's saying.
What happened on Saturday, a guy with a rifle wound up on a building, that close with a ladder, and all these people saw it, and the Secret Service, they're like, what is that?
So basically, he's always an insider of everything, including what's going on in the Trump team, right? Trump campaign. He's probably in touch with them. So if he's saying something like this, that means that he seemed to be hiding some information.
It's not crazy to think that there was something there. It was an effort to kill Trump, and it wasn't just a lone gunman.
It wasn't just a lone gunman, okay?
Right there. Oh, yeah.
Hi, I'm Virginia.
Tucker Carlson, nice to meet you.
It's a pleasure to meet you in
Thank
person.
you.
Thanks for taking some time to ask us a couple questions.
Of course.
Like he likes interviewing people. No, he likes being interviewed a lot more. Look at him, like how he is excited.
Of course.
Well, big news today. We learned that JD Vance is the pick for vice president.
Yes.
Did Trump make the right choice?
So basically, the first thing they ask is not assassination attempt. The first thing they ask is JD Vance because, assassination was a failure, as we know. Trump wasn't killed. So the top story goes towards JD Vance. And it's in all the media because nobody's, mentioning assassination as the first point anymore. So it's only 2 days past and nobody is even talking about it. Just imagine if the same was with Biden, how many news and media reports would be, just bombing the network. Now we have another, case, JD Vance. So now JD Vance is the point number one in all the textbooks, all the topic books that they've been sending to different media outlets.
We absolutely made the right choice. And I think, I love JD Vance. I know him pretty well personally, and I think he's an outstanding person.
If you know him personally, you would know something about JD Vance, right? So just remember what he's saying. I know him personally. That means he knows something about JD Vance, which he's going to say in a different speech. I don't know, it was before the interview or after the interview, after the speech, or before the speech this interview was taken. I don't know. But he's going to say something about JD Vance. I mean, meaning JD Vance, but actually because he knows something about JD Vance and he doesn't want to voice it out loud, but he's going to say it in this or other way because, just to say that, yes, I know everything about JD Vance.
He's really smart, but he puts his intelligence to good use, which is to say the pursuit of wisdom. I mean, JD Vance is one of the only politicians I've ever met. Well, he hasn't been a politician for very long, but who thinks about what's the right choice? What's the moral choice? What's the best choice for the country? So yeah, I'm thrilled. But I would also say that Trump didn't choose a long list of truly destructive people who hate what Trump believes.
So that's a throw of stone to the Trump campaign again. So maybe being such a good insider as he is not very good for Trump team, because he's throwing these rocks into them. As soon as they turn around, as you can see, he is. That's the first rock, and the second rock is going to be later. I'm going to show it.
And who, for reasons that they would have to explain, wanted to serve them anyway. What is that? If you didn't agree with somebody, you probably wouldn't want to be their running mate, right? But if you want to be their running mate anyway, that would suggest what?
So being a Captain Obvious doesn't mean that he didn't just throw a rock into the back of the Trump team.
Well, A, that you were incredibly dishonest, and B, that you're probably working to subvert them. And there was, I'm not privy to Trump's mind, but I did watch the process closely, and there were an awful lot of people who I personally consider loathsome, but even if I didn't consider them loathsome, I know for a fact dislike what Donald Trump believes, and they
dislike what Donald Trump believes. Like you liked it always. There was so many times you were mentioning Trump in bad context. So I mean, I'm not a pro Trump anymore. I was like, enjoying his ascending as a politician in 2016 and his campaign in 2020. But when he betrayed his constituents, his electors, when he betrayed his team, which got under trial because of him, basically. If everybody knew right away that he's going to concede with the election results, wouldn't be wiser not to send the people to the courts, or just keep it in the social media and that's okay, not going to the courts, not doing anything official, setting up people to be in prison, to be indicted, right? I'm not even talking about January 6th case, when he basically ran away when he knew and that he known that what he done actually is, threatening his own career for the future, his own, capital that he is obtaining actually. Because, it's easy to take something away from the rich guy. That's what are they afraid of. And basically was the main reason why Trump stepped back when this old madness started in Capitol building, right?
They wanted to serve with him. And there was a lot of pressure brought to bear on the president to choose them, and he didn't. And so I consider his choice an act of courage. I'm grateful for it. I think it says something really good about where this administration will go.
So basically, no valuable critics was voiced out, because he didn't say any details here. He was just saying abstract things, but he criticized the team. And if he finished up his answer holding hands in the pocket, verbally sending a message that he needs he needs to get paid by them, and he kind of kisses their ass and to say that he's okay with them still and he can work with them. Basically, he just send me in and I'll be perfectly available for your campaign one more time. Or he played a big role, by the way. Big role.
Saying confidently that he'll be the president. He deserves to be. I think he will be. And so I find it thrilling.
Tucker, the past 24 hours has been wild. The amount of news that has come out. How did...
Look at the face. Look at the face. Like, no way. Really? What are we talking about?
The attempted assassination on former President Donald Trump change this election?
Well, Trump won.
Yeah, basically. Just kissing Trump's ass one more time, because he just did it. So he cannot just, change the track right away. He's not that perfect of a speaker. He's okay speaker, but he's not perfect. He's not, Trump or Hitler, for example, because they were just splendid speakers, magnificent speakers.
When that happened, because he displayed physical courage. And, if you
physical courage, kissing his ass one more time. What physical courage he displayed? No physical courage. Physical courage is something like when you run on a tank without any hand grenades and you try to fight a tank. That's a physical courage. When you save a person from the drowning from the river, that's a physical courage. Displaying something, acting like something, is not actually doing anything.
We live in a society where people are literally dating by remote, virtually, and working virtually. You can kind of lose touch with the physical reality of life. But the unchanging truth is that leadership requires courage, and not just abstract courage, moral courage, but physical courage. You know, someone starts shooting a rifle.
So basically, he knows that's not a physical courage. Because standing up with being surrounded by Secret Service is not a physical courage. You know, demonstrating a fist from inside the circle, being surrounded by different people, which is stupid for the Security Service to stand on a still position for 3 seconds at least, or even 5 seconds. They should have been dragging him out, made him bend and covering his head. His head was sticking all the way he was going to the limo. So it's totally unprecedented actions by the Secret Service, and there's no physical courage in that because they let him do it. They let him do the illegal thing, which also leads me to thinking one more thing that I was right before, saying that he was used as useful idiot. All the tactics of taking the protected person to the limo once the shooting starts is to bend him and to drag him, surround him with the bodies, and securely slowly run, jog, whatever you call it, walk to the limo. Not sticking his head out, not letting him wave his hand or whatever, stand in a still position. That's illegal. That's a lawful suit for all these security guards. You should sue them for that because they are not doing their job properly. That's a living person to danger. That's a crime in Russia.
Like, are you going to wet yourself and start crying and run away? Or are you going to stand up and look at your people and raise your fist and say, fight?
Exactly. He wasn't supposed to be let to stand in this position for a while. That is illegal.
And very few people are capable of doing that. And he is. And therefore he wins. Because that supersedes all this nonsense that we talk ourselves into believing is important. No, the guy got shot in the face. He stood up with blood streaming down the side of his head, blood on his hands, and said, fight. Totally defiant. That's an act of undeniable courage that was not staged. You couldn't stage that.
Oh, of course. You couldn't have staged that. See, only if they let them do it. Other security services would drag him to the car already, being banded, not sticking his head out, so other shooters can't shoot him. That's illegal for the security service to do that. What they did.
And that man is the leader, and he wins. And by the way, notice what happens to everyone in the crowd. When a leader is strong, his people are calm. His courage.
Yeah, he didn't even watch the tapes. Everybody was screaming. The even security service banned it. They tried to crouch instead of running to Trump. Only 4 people ran to Trump, maybe 5. I don't know. I didn't count them all at the same point because the videos are different. But some people, as that one who was leading the photo reporter, that suspicious security service agent that came to a reporter and said, like, go that way, get the money shot. It's gonna shoot now. I don't know. Maybe he didn't say that, but it seems to be something like this. Go that way. The shots are over there. Go that way. And the first shot, he was ducking immediately. So that guy didn't know, like, the shoot's gonna be soon. Probably he knew that because they were talking on the radio, as what the police sniper said. They were talking on the radio for 3 minutes to get the command to shoot down they suspect. Right?
Gives them heart. That's true for a father, and it's true for a president. So yeah, he just won, and he deserves to win. Like that was the ultimate test.
You had predicted about a year ago that an assassination attempt on Trump was likely.
Notice the change in his face, because he doesn't want this topic to be voiced out. He doesn't want this question for sure. We can rewind to the questions when he was prior. Let's see, it's 347. Look this way. That's the previous question.
For vice president,
Yes.
did Trump make the right choice?
Oh, he absolutely made the right choice.
Look, he's watching in the direction of journalists. He's welcoming the question. The second question.
Change this election.
Also, doesn't want the question. Look here. Also doesn't want the question.
Predicted about a year ago that an assassination attempt on Trump was likely. How did we get here?
Well, we got here. Disaster has many authors. So
Closing down his hands because he doesn't want the topic to be voiced out. He wants to close himself to protect him. Simple psychology.
we got here for a bunch of different
Doesn't look in the eyes of the journalist. Still, he doesn't like the question.
reasons. I think there's been, I say this as someone who's been in the media my whole life, 33 years, an extraordinary.
Of course, needs to mention 33 because, we can see where he's standing. Heritage and the bell here. So let's check out the logo. Bell Heritage. We can see a 39, hidden form of 33. So let's continue. Of course, he needs to name a 33 here. And by the way, in a description, there is also 33. Trump was on stage at the campaign rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, 33 miles north of Pittsburgh. Yeah, like it's important how many miles is north from Pittsburgh. Yeah.
Amount of recklessness and dishonesty in the American news media, which is loathsome. The legacy media, the big companies that I spent my life working for, have really dedicated themselves to lying in a very cruel and vicious way. People like Joe Scarborough did a lot, I think, to make assassination attempts like that possible. They're comfortable with violence. Scarborough especially is comfortable with violence, but a lot of them are, I think. And so they should be ashamed they're not, but they should be. But I think more broadly, there's a lot going on that is unseen. There's a lot of evil all of a sudden in this country. I never noticed it before. I'm not saying it wasn't here, but in the 55 years I've been here, I haven't seen it like I've seen it in the last year. People really being vicious, people espousing cruelty and killing, people telling you that abortion for its own sake or war for its own sake is a good thing. Like, what is that? That's evil. So there's a lot of that. And this is, I would say, a manifestation of it.
Yeah. You are seen as very controversial by the leftist media.
Look at this. You're seen as very controversial. So basically, she's like ending up the story because, what we just heard.
There's a lot of evil all of a sudden.
Is it actually the answer to the question? No, he is going abstract. He's going to some evil. He's going into direction of something that he doesn't want to voice it out. That's why he stays close here through whole the topic. And let's go to the second video where actually speech of Trump Trucker is available, and look what he is saying from the Tribune.
Basically sincere. Even the wackos on the other side are generally sincere. They really mean it. And I kind of get that. And because I may be wrong. I certainly have been, but I mean it. But you deal with political people and they don't mean it. All they mean is they want power. That's it.
So basically, he's like abstracting himself from the politicians, saying, I'm not politicians. I'm saying I may be wrong. Sometimes I admit I was wrong, and politicians never do. So I'm not a politician. Look at me.
And there's been a lot of jockeying because there are a couple big jobs, well, one big job, which was just awarded. And it's crazy to watch politicians around power. So there's this job, one person makes the decision, and whoever gets the job immediately has a lot of power. And it really is like waving a flank state over an alligator. They're just jumping up and snapping in the air.
Like he describes them, right? Alligator for the flank state.
But they're not doing it in a straightforward way. I mean, I've always wondered, I spent 35 years in Washington, and there were politicians I liked, but I just couldn't help but notice that every single one of them had a weird personal life. Almost every single one. Not all, but most of them. Something they were hiding. They were secretly gay, or they were into drugs, or alcoholic, or they're cheating on their wife, or whatever. And I thought...
So that's what he's saying about the different politicians. He knows secret lives. And guess what? He's talking about JD Vance, because there was a rumor about JD Vance.
JD Vance has had a meteoric rise in the Republican Party. From a best-selling author and never-Trumper in 2016.
I'm a never-Trump guy. I never liked him.
Vance is a very peculiar person. He was born in 1984 in the small town of Middletown in Ohio, and even not in the most prosperous family. After high school, Vance enlisted in the Marines and returned to Ohio after his service. Vance's life changed dramatically in 2011 after meeting Peter Thiel, the co-founder of PayPal and the first external investor of Facebook. What the 44-year-old billionaire found in common with the 27-year-old retired Marine is not reliably known, except for dirty rumors related to Thiel's unconventional sexual orientation. But after they met, Vance's career took off. He graduated from the prestigious Yale Law School and later worked for Thiel at his Mithril Capital Management.
To winning a U.S. Senate seat at age 38. And now, he's former President Donald Trump's running mate.
Elect Donald Trump in 2024. God bless you, sir.
JD Vance first catapulted to fame in 2016 after he published his memoir, Hillbilly Elegy. The book detailed his experience growing up poor in Rust Belt, Ohio, and making it to Yale Law School.
I obviously didn't fully appreciate the president's appeal in 2016.
Yeah, he said some bad things about me, but that was before he knew me, and then he fell in love.
Another significant moment of his time at Yale, meeting Usha Chilukuri, his future wife and the mother of his 3 children. The couple married in 2014 and held a separate ceremony where they were blessed by a Hindu pundit. Usha Chilukuri is 44 in numerology. He was born James Donald Bowman on August 2nd, 1984, in Middletown. Vance's biological parents, Donald Bowman and Bev Vance, divorced when he was a toddler. He was later adopted by his mother's new husband, Bob Hamill, and changed his name to James David Hamill. The name change preserved his nickname, JD. Bev and Bob later divorced, and Bev struggled with drug addiction. Vance was raised primarily by his grandparents, who were, he wrote in Hillbilly Elegy, without question or qualification, the best things that ever happened to me. On July 1st, 2021, Vance announced his Senate campaign in Ohio. I regret being wrong about the guy, Vance said about Trump several days later on the campaign trail. I think he was a good president. I think he made a lot of good decisions for people, and I think he took a lot of flack. He later added, "He's the best president of my lifetime."
Choosing Vance allows Trump to shore up support among the white working class.
So basically, we know Tucker knows this guy, so we could assume he knows something about his past, including his Peter Thiel story, who is openly calls himself a gay. And so why did he choose JD Vance, who is changing his names from 39, 38 to 33 and back? So I don't know. All this story is kind of muddy to me. Somebody's definitely picking him for some reason. At least the venture capitalists are profiting, and that's one of the obvious things that we can see. And so putting them into Trump team was a good good idea for them and for their money-making machine. Okay, and let's finish up this story with this video clip. Let's just hear what the lady says.
I-11. Sometime before 5:45 p.m., a law enforcement officer spotted a suspicious person. That was a Thomas Matthew Crooks on the grounds. So he took a photo of him and he called it in. Another officer checked the grounds but didn't find him. Then someone on Beaver County's emergency services team saw a suspicious man on the roof and took a photo of him. Well, shockingly, between the time the second photo was taken and when shots were fired from the roof, 26 minutes had elapsed.
So basically we see 26 minutes and the titles here, for example, nearly 30 minutes, and here also nearly 30 minutes. So I mean, that is the key in this title. So we all know the shooter is a 33 issue, but they are not calling him the shooter, as you can see. They are calling would-be Trump assassin. Okay, would-be Trump assassin. So let's check it out. It's a 77. His name, we know his name. His name is also 77. So they are talking about him currently. Let's see. Next thing, nearly 30 minutes. Like they posted here, nearly 30 minutes is also 33. And report itself is hidden form of 33. Also spotted on. Let's check this one. Spotted on. Also 38. So we got the best shooting also. Best shooting is 77. So returning to the shooter. That's the only word here without explanation is roof. But she's talking that the cops were in that same building, and the same building the guy was on the roof, by the way. So that's ridiculous.
26 minutes. Joining me now, Congressman Corey Mills of Florida. He was an Army sniper, also coordinated protective details for numerous high-profile people, including then Vice President Biden and First Lady Laura Bush. Also with me, Congressman Ronnie Jackson of Texas, who spent a lot of time with President Trump since the attempted assassination. Congressman Mills.
Now look at this guy. This guy was also during the rally, the guy with the bricks on his back. The bricks jacket. He was also in the rally in front of Trump. So I don't know who's that guy actually. That would be nice to know. So basically, that's what I wanted to tell you. And this lady, we know lady's name. She's got a.
According to a local.
She's got a Ingraham Angle, I think. Ingraham Angle, yeah, something like this. Yeah, Ingraham Angle. That's her show. So the angle, we know the angle. What's the mean? The angle is a degree. The degree and angle means a lot, but what is the angle? The angle is 44. So Ingraham herself is 44. Okay, so that's a nice way to finally finish today's video. We're gonna continue soon, as soon as I get some more information. I have already opened like 10 or 11 things on my browser, so there's plenty of materials coming up too. So at least when I feel myself ready to post, or maybe even tomorrow. Who knows? Actually, I don't really know what's gonna happen tomorrow. I have problems with my car, so I have to fix it. So I don't know. If I have time, I'll make another video soon. See you guys later. Bye.